Hi friends, hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello, so welcome back. Hi. First of all, candle of the day today is lavender marshmallow. So today's video, I thought it might be fun just to talk about something that's not COVID-19 everything else that's going on in the world. But I want to talk about Tana Mongeau's nutty reality TV show. I've been watching her TV show since it was Tana Turns 21. Now it's just MTV No Filter. Tana Mongeau is the name of the show. But I watched all of last season. I was like gonna do a video about it, but then I just kind of felt like there wasn't a lot to talk about because it really tied into what I talked about with her and Jake Paul. So I ended up not making a video. However, my good friend Luke Alexander here on YouTube covers every single episode and does reactions to every single episode, and I think he does an amazing job at that, so I will definitely have his channel, and I know he has a playlist linked down below where he talks about everything. So if you want to hear more reacting to the show episode by episode, then I absolutely think you should go check him out. He's a great channel. I love him. I collabed with him during Lomas. He's amazing. Today I just wanted to talk about the show as a whole, not necessarily just episode by episode. However, the last episode that very recently aired is the one that kind of inspired this video. I've always been just to give you some background, I've been a little bit critical of Tana in the past. She's definitely had her fair share of scandalous things happen to her, in the sense that, you know, TanaCon happened, the wedding happened, where all those people paid for the live stream. There was the whole N-word thing that happened a few years ago. Like, she's had a lot of stuff go on in her life, and that has happened while she's been online that has been very sus. The fact that she promotes drugs to her young audience kind of makes me angry. And I think I've made a few videos at this point just kind of explaining like my criticisms and things like that. So you can go check those out if you would like to get a little bit of background. I've been trying this format. I did one video and you guys really liked it, and now that I have more time, I think I'll do more of them, where it's kind of like the evolution of her and her content, and I think she would be a really interesting one to do it on. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that. I can break down everything. But today is specifically about the MTV show. And Tana Turns 21, which was last season, was supposed to be about her 21st birthday. You can see that the plot lines they had set out at the beginning of the show, which was going to be centered around her turning 21, her 21st birthday, her VidCon, going back to VidCon for the first time after TanaCon. Like, that's kind of what it was going to be about. And then she started dating Jake Paul, and it just became entirely about Jake Paul and their relationship and their marriage, and just all about them, basically, instead of about Tana, you know. I thought it was super interesting when I heard that she was going to be doing a season 2 of this show, because from my standpoint, where I sit, I felt like season 1 made her look really bad. There was a lot of instances where in the show, she just like didn't come across as looking good. And that was really reflective in the comments. The comments of most of those videos were people saying, I can't believe Tana acts this way. I can't believe she treats people this way, because the way that she treated her manager, even some of her fans, her assistant, her friends, like the way she treats people, it's a little jarring, honestly. Even for me, as somebody who's been like critical of her, I couldn't believe how just like outwardly rude she kind of was to people, especially her manager. Her and her manager have a very weird dynamic, and that's really been noticeable in this current season. So this current season, they added Trevor Moran to the cast, which I think is a really interesting choice. It's because it's Trevor. But I think it seems like they're gonna do some stuff with him and his sobriety, which I'll be really interested to watch. But it's just her and her friends still. They're like the main cast of characters, and Jordan. And so far this season has just kind of been like, you know, whatever. Like, they did a yard sale, which obviously wasn't real. She talked about her breakup with Jake Paul, you know, how hard that was. And it was like, okay, but the whole season, this whole season so far, has been a lot of focus has been put on her physical health, because I guess she has this really, really horrible cough, and she's been coughing up blood, and she's been like hacking up her lungs basically every 20 minutes. Everybody's really worried about her. But then after everybody talks about how worried they're about her, everybody's like, oh, well, she's still smoking 10 blunts a day. Well, she has this absolutely horrific cough where she literally cannot stop coughing. They show it on the show how bad it is, and it really is awful. Like, she's constantly coughing, and how it's been going on for over a year, and how she hasn't gone to the doctor. And that's been kind of an underlying theme of this season, has been this health problem. So this last episode that just aired, it aired like 2 days ago, I don't know. This last episode that just aired was her finally going to the doctor. Her manager, Jordan, made her this appointment to go to the doctors, and she went went to the doctors. And I just have to say, there was so many things that happened in this episode that made me be like, there is not a person in this world who should be looking up to this person as a role model right now in their life. Like, it's scary to watch, actually. It makes me actually kind of concerned for her, I'm not even gonna lie. Because so her manager makes this doctor's appointment, and the episode before this one, they have this whole long conversation about how Tana's like, he makes me this doctor's appointment and he pretends that he cares, but he doesn't really care about me. He just thinks of me as like a worker, and he never lets me like take time off to work and to rest the way that I need to. It's always about work. But then when she's talking to Jordan about it, she's like, well, if you actually cared about my health and well-being, you would let me sleep in instead of waking me up to post brand deals. And it's like, okay, so there is a slight difference between forcing somebody to get out of bed on just an everyday basis because they have to do their work. Like the same way that I don't always want to get up to go to work. It's like, well, I have to force myself to get up to go to work sometimes. Would it be great for my mental health if I could just sleep in all the time? I'm sure it would be, but that's not like life. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have to do things that make you mildly uncomfortable and are inconveniencing just so you can go about life. That's not saying that the person who literally made you a doctor's appointment when it wasn't his job, not our manager's job to make her doctor's appointments, that's not saying he's a bad person or he doesn't care about her. It's just saying that he's trying to keep her on track. And he made a really good point of like, she doesn't care about her health. She doesn't care about her well-being. Like, she smokes weed all day. She sleeps in all the time. She sleeps weird hours. She's constantly partying. Her whole thing was like, well, to work, I have to constantly be partying and constantly. And it's like, no, you don't actually. You actually don't have to constantly be doing drugs and partying. That doesn't have to be your brand. You can definitely change your brand. And I think a lot of people would really appreciate it if you stopped promoting Xanax to minors and promoting drinking excessively to minors. I think a lot of people would appreciate that actually. If you changed up your brand, you'd probably get more money because you'd be more marketable to brands, but that's besides the point. Sorry. She hit a nerve with this one because then she actually went to the doctor. And here's the thing. Tana described how in her childhood, her parents would get really mad at her for going to the doctor and they never wanted to help her when she was sick. And it caused a lot of this trauma within her, which is totally valid. Like, that is totally valid. I totally get it. Totally a thing that does happen is, you know, people who grow up in poverty do have kind of this very weird feeling about going to doctor's offices because it's just not the norm. It's not what you normally do when you're sick. When you're sick, you just let it go and hope that you're okay. With that being said, and on the flip side, Tana's in a position now in her life where she very easily has the financial means to go to a doctor's appointment, which is a huge privilege, especially in the United States where healthcare is not free. And I think the thing that was really frustrating for me as a viewer to watch is it's like, this girl is claiming that going to the doctors is like this horrific experience for her and she's acting like it's horrible for her, which it might be, but in the same breath, she's made multiple videos going to plastic surgeons and getting needles stuck in her face constantly and doing all of these crazy other things that revolve going to a doctor's office and having to have things done to you and having to have treatments and having to have tests. And those are never an issue. But suddenly when it's like for an MTV show and it's for your actual health because your lungs are failing you, and when it's somebody telling you that you might have to do something that you're not supposed to be doing, which is smoking weed, now it's a problem, now it's whatever. So that's just a side note. She then goes into the doctor's office and they take her blood pressure. This is when I knew it was gonna be bad because the nurse, this poor nurse, was taking her blood pressure and Tana literally ripped off the blood pressure cuff and was like, I can't do this, sorry, it hurts too much, like, no, and was incredibly rude, ripping off the cuff. And then she's sitting there and she's like, if any more inconvenience is happening, I'm walking out. Okay, a lot of people are saying that MTV might have edited this to make Tana look worse. And like, maybe that's true, but I don't know how they could have possibly edited her saying, if any more inconveniences happen, I'm walking out, about a doctor's office visit. If getting your blood pressure taken is such a huge like, there's a lot to unpack with that. Am I crazy? It scares me to think that like young kids are looking up to her and being like, oh, my idol, my queen, when she literally can't even be bothered to get her freaking blood pressure taken at a doctor's and is rude to the nurses and employees that help her. And then she gets all these tests done and they find out that she has asthma. This is where I really was like, this is ridiculous, like what's happening right now. They asked her if she wanted to do the TB test and she was like, no, I'm not doing that. So she still could have TB and just like didn't get tested for it, even though she has all of the means in the world to get tested and it's a very easy test. She didn't want to get tested for it. So they gave her this inhaler and they were like, you have to use it for 10 days. And the doctor was also like, you have to stop smoking weed for 10 days. She was like, no, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. She's not going to stop smoking weed. Okay. Her manager is trying to ask clarifying questions because he wants to help her because she's literally coughing up a lung every time she breathes. And Tana's sitting there like being annoyed and angry and mad. And then the whole way home, all she can talk about is how asthma is not even that big of a deal. Everybody has asthma. Who cares if you have asthma? It's not a big deal. It's totally treatable. She doesn't care anymore because it's not something as serious as TB. So she doesn't care that she has asthma. She's not going to do the treatment that the doctor is requiring that she do, which is literally to do 2 puffs of an inhaler that he already gave her a day. That's all she has to do. She's like, I'm not doing that. She's like, I don't care if I die. I'm going to keep smoking weed. I don't care if my lungs collapse. I don't care, right? This is her attitude. If you are a fan of Tana's and you're watching her and you're like, yeah, she's right. Like, LOL. Don't think that way. Please consider your life and have value in your life a little bit more. And even to Tana, like, have more value in your freaking life than that. It's not trendy to not care about yourself. It's not trendy to not go to the doctor's office. It's not trendy to not take what the doctors are telling you so that way you can be better and not be so sick. That's not a trendy thing to do. I feel like she acts this way partially because I do think she probably has stuff going on. She's talked very openly about the fact that she deals with depression. I'm sure she's dealing with that too. But I think the other aspect of it is low-key. I feel like she thinks it makes her look cool. I think she thinks it's funny. I think she thinks it makes her look relatable to other teens who are like, LOL, I don't care if I die. Like, that's how I feel like she genuinely thinks that she looks. And I think the worst part was their manager is like kind of older than them. I think the worst part was when she got back to her house and she told her friends, she was like, oh, I have asthma. And they were like, oh my God, let's light a blunt. That's great. It's just asthma, which kills people, by the way. They're like, oh, it's just that? Oh, you're gonna be so fine. That's amazing. And her manager is sitting there like, am I going crazy? And it's like, no, Jordan, you're not going crazy. All of these kids need a serious reality check. And this isn't even just to like Tana Mongeau and her friends, like across the board, a problem with influencers that they get so caught up in this influencer lifestyle and being relatable and doing everything for clout and doing everything for attention, doing everything to monetize it. I genuinely feel like they've lost touch with actual reality and like semblance of sense, because the way that Tana was talking and the way that her friends were talking, I'm so sorry because I rarely say this, but they honestly just sounded so incredibly ignorant, like so incredibly ignorant to the people that die from asthma, to the people who have to deal with it on a daily basis, to the people who literally go through periods where they cannot physically breathe and catch their breath. It's horrifying to me that you have a group of influencers in a room where there are cameras on them pointed at them and you have a group of them laughing and joking around about having asthma. It's just a new level of insanity to me. It really is. I see it super exemplified in the fact that there are still influencers who are going out and vlogging their day-to-day life when we have a health pandemic going on. They're still going to nail salons. They're still going shopping. They're not practicing social distancing. They're not using their platforms to spread the fact that we need to be staying inside. It's kids who do not understand the severity of these things, and there's unfortunately younger kids looking up to them. And I think it's really sad. And if you read the comments under MTV's show, it honestly gives me a lot of hope that kids are seeing through it, because it's just kids being like, wow, I used to love Tana, but this show makes me realize she's kind of mean to people. She's kind of ignorant on a lot of things. She's acting really, really ignorant when it comes to this. She should be taking her health seriously. It's not lame to take your health seriously. It's not lame to take things in general in life seriously. I don't know. I'm interested to know what you guys think. I'm interested to know what you guys feel about influencers like having these reality shows in the first place, because I know Nikita Dragon is getting one. I'm interested if you think it's just the producers editing her to look a certain way, or if you think this is actually how she is and it's just shedding a light on it to people because she's not the one in control of the narrative. I'm really interested to see what you guys think. Also, please take medical advice seriously. Please listen to your doctors. If they tell you to do something, please do it. 9 times out of 10, it's probably what's best for you, especially if it's something as simple as use this inhaler so you can start breathing and be healthy, you know? Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you think about the reality show in general. I love you guys so much. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with a link to register to vote. That's right, you can click on that link, you can register to vote, and you can be part of your democracy. And if you're not from the United States and that link does not apply to you, please make sure you're staying informed on what's going on. Use your voice in a positive way, because the world absolutely needs more of that. And also, please make sure you're staying up to date on actual informed news about COVID-19, and make sure you're just staying informed the best you can. Social distancing, please. It's very, very important and crucial to flatten the curve. I will leave resources down below for that, and links to what I find to be very informative articles and videos about the topic. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!